PNGs, PNG files, transparent background images using Keynote. This will be perfect for websites, videos, etc. If you're an Apple user, again, PC users have a ton of different resources, but for Mac, there's a very, very simple and easy way to do it. I'm looking at my screen and it looks like I'm lagging. So I apologize if that's actually happening. So this will be converted into a short later. So if you're a YouTube subscriber or if you follow me on any other platform, this will show up as a short, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But for now, this is the long version. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up. Sorry. Screen on, share. You get to see me. You get to see my screen. Let's see if we can do this. That's better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open, let's just say we have an image like, let me see if I can pull an image. This will be pretty interesting. We're going to open up Keynote first. Just to make sure it's in the screen. Keynote. Perfect. Whoa, that is huge. That is a huge Keynote screen. Let me see if that looks good. Hold on, everybody. I know I should have had this open up, but I want to take everybody down through the process, right? Don't look at my web stuff. How dare you? How dare you get involved with my education? All right. So this is Keynote. Great. I'm just going to make that full screen. Perfect. I wish I could make me smaller, but I don't think I can. Again, you're not going to get much more real estate unless I close this window. Hang on a sec. Let's go view. Let's hide the navigator. Slide only. Thank you. All right. So now, usually you would have a new slide, which is blank. You get the option, you would add a blank slide, right? But I don't. I have a template set up where it gives me a green screen. And I do that for a reason, because if I'm doing video where I need transparency, I can green screen things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an image from, let's see what I've got. Let me see if I can find an image from somewhere. Let's go image. Let's do photo, just a photo. Let's see who shows up as the top image for photo. That seems pretty weird. We've got cartoon effects and filters. I have no idea why this guy's showing up. Okay, so there we go. We now have an image. You okay? You got an itch? You got a face itch? Okay, so now we have this image of this individual. Now, if we wanted to make, here's what let me start by the question that was asked. How do I put a frame on this with a drop shadow and then export it as a PNG? So let me explain that right away. So I'm just going to go take the image, highlight it, go over to border, and select picture frame. You can change the picture frame style, but I usually like the contact shadow, which kind of curves it a little bit. Looks like it's just sitting there and kind of bent up a little bit, gives a little bit of a dimension. But you can change that. Hang on a second. On picture frame, I think you can change the border, right? Oh yeah, scale. So it can be thin, it can be large. But just set that to 100%. So now, how do I make this transparent? Well, the image has no transparency in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, copy, Command-C, and then I'm going to open up Preview, another free application from Mac. And I'm going to say Command-N for new. And what that does is it creates a new document based on what I have on the clipboard. Let me do that one more time. Delete. I highlight, copy, Command-C, and then open up Preview. Don't do presentations, oh man. Preview, Command-N, it opens up that and its own image. What you'll see at the bottom of this, if I can zoom in, zoom, nice kneecap, thank God. Maybe zoom out a little bit back so you can see what's actually happening. In the bottom of this screen, you'll see that the shadow, the contact shadow, is it's a gradient right here. So watch this. There we go. It's grading out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save this as a PNG. So Command S, save as PNG, and say beach man. Beach man. Perfect. Let's get that back to normal. Boop, 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 boop. Perfect. So now it's saved a copy of Beach Man. I'm going to open up Beach Man, and there it is. It's the same image because I just saved it. But now watch. When I drag it into here, this doesn't have a border or a shadow. This is basically the image now. It's knocked out. So if I were to put this on, this is a PNG image of that dude. So if I were to put it on a, let's get another image here. Let's do map of Sahara Desert. Perfect. Perfect. I'm just going to take a silly map and I'm going to put it in the background so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. So now I put this image here. Whatever. Again, this is just for an example to show you what you can do with it. So again, now it's transparent. You can see the green underneath it, and it looks like it's a drop shadow there. Boop. So you can see like it's transparent in the background. If you saved it as a JPEG, watch this. Take that same first image, copy, go to preview, new. Now if I were to go to save as or export, and I saved it as a JPEG, you'll see the difference. Beach man. Yeah, I can save it as that. But when I drag that in, watch, you'll see that's the transparent image we created. But when I drag this one, see how it has a white border all the way around it? Because the entire bounding box of the image has a white background. It's not a transparent layer. So that's the difference between a PNG with transparency and a JPEG with a white bounding box around it. Okay, so now here's the second part of that tutorial. So the first part of the tutorial, let's go add slide. I'm going to say add green. We're going to get an image of like, how about cowboy? How about no, space dandy? Okay. You'll see this image here. Sorry. I wonder if we can go in there. Yeah. So that's a knocked out image. We usually call that a knocked out, where you have an image on the background. Let's see if I can get one that is less. I want something that has a decent enough background that I can do this. Come on, buddy. Give me something. Everything is a very high detailed image, which I don't want. Probably Space Dandy has a lot of black in the background. Come on, give me a freaking image, please. I'm going to try this one. I don't know if this is going to work or not. All right. So now we have this image. And so this one is transparent. So if you were to put this on the same background that we had before, the Africa background, front, whoops, you'll see that he's knocked out. Very aliased though. This one's a low res image, but you can see the image behind him. Copy V. If we wanted to use this image, blow it up over the top of the whole thing, I can't see it. So Keynote also has this really cool thing called remove background. And so you can knock out the background of the image like that. I know, it's freaking crazy, right? And that was an image that was very odd and complex. So let's move that out of the way. I don't have, that's not for me. But again, with one button click, you can remove a background. And I wish I had a better image than this, but let's try this one. I know this is, just bear with me, please. Space Dandy, Scan Gallery. I don't know who this is. I like Space Dandy. I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. So let's get this character from Space Dandy, blow it up to the full. We don't have to blow it up. I just wanted to get it larger so you could see it. I want to make sure you can see that on the stream. Perfect. You can. I can probably blow this up one size. Oh, great. Can I blow it up one more? Perfect. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, again, very low quality bitmappy image. I click on that, hit remove background, and boom, it takes out the background. Now it's still chunky, right? This is a little bit, but for one button to get rid of the background, that's amazing. The other way you can do it is go undo. Oh, undo. You can, once you click on remove background, if you don't like that, you can say reset, and you can just take out the image that you want like that. So I can grow it by dragging my mouse down. See how it gets, whoa, it's too much. So I'll just go here. And you can see how remove background does a pretty good job of maintaining the integrity of the core image. See, if I do that, it's going to take out pretty much all of the image. So that's why if I do auto, it does a pretty good job. The other way to do this, and it's, if you really had a nice looking image, this is not a nice looking image. One of the cool things you can do, this is pretty slick. Let's go shape. This is pen tool. So at the very top of your screen, you have shape, pen tool. And then what I'm going to do, again, I'm not doing this for real. I'm just doing, I'm drawing around the image, click, click, and I'm not doing a great job of it. You can see I'm like, what? I'm just going, oh, excuse me, ma'am. Pardon me, just stepping through. Okay, so that's what I did. I just made a big old box around that image. Now watch this. Whoop, whoop, beat that, doot, doot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to turn that line. You don't have to do this. I'm doing this. Turn that line to purple, fill it with color fill, and we're going to change that color. There's my color fill. I'm going to change that color to that color. Great. So you're like, what are you doing? Didn't you just knock it out? Yes, I did knock it out. But watch this. Let's go. Zoom, 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 zoom. That's as far in as I can go. You can see that line around the image. Let's click on this one more time. We're going to change that line opacity. Ooh, I want to get that line opacity down quite a bit. I just want to see where that line is, and I want to be able to see through it. I'm going to make that line a little bit more narrow. Okay, great. So now what I do, and you're like, what is he doing? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create, if you had something that needed far more detail work than the auto or background didn't remove it properly, you can create this. Again, I created a shape using the pen tool around the character, just draw a contour. Then you make editable, and you can take this shape and bend it to your will like this. So I'm going to bend that up, help it over. And you can tweak it with even more curves. This is a lot like Illustrator if you've ever worked in Illustrator. In fact, if I say no border, you can show this going right up to the edge. And what I usually like to do, whoop, watch that. Okay, there we go. Perfect. This pen could go here. And again, you can see how detailed you can get in here. I go here. And again, and I would make a little jag in there, of course, but not now because that's just a demo. This is for demo purposes. All right, let's get this hair done, and you'll see what I'm going to do here. There we go. And then this goes here. This goes there. This gets bent. This gets bent. And what you can see, if you get a very crisp line here, you can make an outline of black. So it looks like it has a cartoon. And when I do a lot of my Simpsons upscaled, this is kind of how I make those outlines. I trace around the character, and then boop. I don't know how I'm going to turn this into a 60-second short, but what are you going to do? Maybe this will be 3 60-second shorts. All right. I'm just going to go around her hair. Oh, get out of the way, colors. All right. So you see what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just connecting dots, or making the dots to connect all these little points. Now watch, when I kick out of here, let me just get this. Great, and sharp, and awesome, and good. How many people are watching this? Hey, 5 people, I'm sorry. This is OCD kicking in right now. My OCD. That's too much bend, but anyways, oh. I got 5 people, baby. And I don't know what platform because I'm not paying attention to that, but there we go. Let's get that. So let's just get this, make sharp point. Make sharp point. Make sharp point. I would never, if there was a million people in here, I wouldn't, but 5 people, if you're here, you really are invested. Sharp point. And they're probably my friends who are like, Jesus, I'm just trying to support you. Why are you doing this to me? Make sharp point. Make sharp point. Perfect. There we go. All right. So now, one more thing. I just want to make sure her leg is covered. That perfect. Okay. So now what I've done, I've taken it and I've knocked her out completely. So if I were to take this image, copy V, and do the remove background, oop, 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 oop. You can see it does a pretty good job, but there's like some muddiness. Let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of all of you. Perfect. So you'll see that there's some, this issue, this went away. The fingers are kind of bad, but I'm not going to even touch that. There's some oddness here in her hair. And again, I've got some oddness here as well, but, and this thing kind of is a little bit, well, it's smooth. I guess that could work. I'm just going up right up to the line. So anyways, this is pretty decent for a low quality image. But if you needed it super sharp, and again, it would make a difference if this was high res. But now I'm going to copy this. So I'm highlighting both the image. Hang on a sec. Let's go delete. You'll see that's in the background. I'm now copying the background image and this. Copy, open up preview. Hey, hello, buddy. Delete. And I'm going to say Command N. Let's do that again just to be cool. Delete. So I copied all of that, and I'm going to say preview, Command N, and you'll see that she's in there with that green. And you're like, well, what's the point of that? She's got a green background now. Yes, but this is when you enter this into a video. I can copy this, copy. Oh, wait, sorry. That's right. So I'm going to save this as, hang on a sec, save it as, and it could be anything. I'm going to save it as a PNG. And we'll say KO gal. She's been knocked out. Great. So now that I have KO gal, now here, let's put it this way. Let's get rid of, let's zoom out a little bit. Oop, 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 oop. We're going to start a new slide. And we're going to add a video. Let's see what I can do for a video here. Okay, so we've got this. So this video, you can see in the background, it's, there you go, right? It's fancy. But if I wanted to put this gal in there, the one we knocked out, let's put the other gal in there so you can see the difference between the two. Images, there we go. So this is the first image and the one we were going to knock out. Great, you can see them both. So if I go to this one and I say remove background, great, perfect. And I click on this one and I say remove background, say reset. Oops, knock all that green out. Get her reduced to size, boom. So I can get that big enough so everybody, it makes sense for everybody. Come on. Great. So you see they're on the edge here. There's some weirdness, but here it's sharp and crisp. If I wanted to put a black line on it, I would go this route. So when I hit play in the background, and I wish you could see, hang on a second, let's see how odd this one has these like little rounded, and so if you did a black line around it, it would not, and of course this is knocked out too. But in this one, you can see how sharp these can be, and especially if you put a black line around it, it would really make that pop. You can crunch that line in a little bit so it's right up against the, but again, the difference between these is slight, but if you're working on videos and you have a high-res HD image, this is a great way to knock them out without going into Photoshop and creating strong, crisp black lines, which again, you might be able to do in After Effects. But for people that just don't have the money for After Effects, Keynote, iMovie, and Preview can all do these kind of for free. So, or whatever the cost of it is. I have no idea. Anyways, that's a quick tutorial. Hope that was enlightening. Again, this is probably broken into 3 different tutorials. This is 20 minutes. Geez, oh man, never going to get that time back. All right, everybody.